What's up, the YouTube? It's the Duel Maniacs, here to actually play some card games. I know we promised that ages ago, but like, miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle.
Well, see, it's funny because what we promised was we were going to do that Utopia duel.
Yeah.
And then it never happened because my life half fell apart. So
I
didn't really have the time or the energy or the effort available to do that anymore.
Yeah, I feel that. But now that I'm settled and I've got myself a swanky new computer built that can actually process things a little more beefy than solitaire, we're back, baby!
So Aubrey will proceed to post a whole bunch more shorts where he's dressed like Dick Gumshoe from Phoenix Writes, and I will continue to write scripts for this channel and then not actually make them because I have no time. No, I do have something recorded already. I just need to actually have the time.
Have the time to edit it, yeah. In fairness, that meatball sub joke was hilarious. That was comedy gold.
Well, the problem that I have is that I just every time I think about it, it's like because the microphone that I have is not in the most optimal place, so it picks up a lot of reverb and stuff. So, like, I plan on replacing the microphone very soon, and once I do, then I will be able to have a bit more confidence in my audio recording. But until then, it's just such a daunting process when I think about recording audio and then having to edit it, because I'm also bad at reading.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like I'll record a script and then the recording itself winds up being like an hour and a half long, and I have to cut down like a lot of it. Like I wound up cutting an hour of me flubbing lines out, and I don't know if that's a just me thing or if that happens to other Yugi tubers as well, but it just makes me feel like I'm a fucking dumbass.
Well, we should probably do our thing here.
Yeah. So for people who are curious about what's going on here, I was working today and Aubrey messaged me randomly and he was like, "Hey, let's play some EDOPro." And I was like, "Okay, sure, why not?" And he was like, "I'm gonna make a Relinquished deck." And I was like, "Okay, so how about you wait to do that until I'm off work, and then we build decks at the same time, and then we'll record us playing them and stuff to see how that goes down." And I decided I was going to build a Dark Magician deck because I'm actually writing a script for a Dark Magician video right now that needs
we may or may not ever see.
Yeah, it requires some extensive work because Dark Magician, as it turns out, has a lot of cards.
To the surprise of absolutely no one. It is kind of a flagship of the series.
Yeah.
So, we're sort of building...
I mean, it's no heroes, but...
Yeah. We're sort of building like... it's kind of accidentally turned out to be like Yugi's boss monster versus Pegasus' boss monster build.
Yeah, it's like almost like a character duel, except we are by no means the voice actors, so don't ask us for autographs. Not that you were going to.
I mean, feel free to ask me for an autograph anyway. I will take that right to the ego.
Fair enough. Okay, so Aubrey's built a deck. I've built a deck, and what we're going to do is we're going to mute ourselves on Discord so that he, on his side where he's recording, he's going to talk about his deck, and on my side I will talk about mine, and then we're going to splice it all together, and everything's going to be hunky-dory, and then we're going to have some duels, and I'm probably going to lose.
Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. I built this deck totally blind. Honestly, we both have no idea what the other is running. We just sort of have a general idea of what the deck looks like.
I made a lot of jokes about running really bad Dark Magician cards, but I didn't run any of them.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I didn't have quite so many options at my disposal. So
yeah, Relinquished is nowhere near as fleshed out a deck as Dark Magician. Honestly, you should have gone the full Pegasus route, and you should have thrown tunes in there too.
See, I was thinking about it, but I decided, nah, I'm just gonna run I'm gonna run this the best I can with what I've got, Make it a thing. Make it a thing. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna get going on this bad boy. So I'll see you in, 5 minutes?
Alright, see you in a bit.
Alright, now that my co-host is not here to eavesdrop on my wonderful deck, we are going to have a look at what I've built here, at this glorious mess of mine. So, here's how it goes. Ignore the prohibition, I was just curious, so we're going to ignore that. We're going to start off by running 3 Illusionist Faceless Magician, because that way, if I get... So it's kind of funny. I've got a strategy for this guy that I will mention when I get to my Relinquish, but yeah, it's going to be a pretty handy card. Get a little flesh wall. And yeah, if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, I can summon an Eyes Restrict Fusion monster or a Relinquish from my graveyard. So it's pretty handy. Next up, I've got Stygian Street Patrol. Stygian Street Patrol is pretty fun. I can... If he gets sent to the graveyard for a link summon, I can banish him from the graveyard to summon a fiend from my hand. All the fiends in this deck have I don't have any fiends in this deck. Except for I don't have any fiends in this deck. Oh my god, I'm dumb. We're gonna see how well this beautiful mess goes. On the bright side, at least it's a level 4 that I can summon, it's a level 4, so I can use it with Summoner Monk and get out Time Thief Redoer, so that'll be pretty cool. Next I've got Manju of the 10,000 Hands. He's a pretty cool ritual grabber for me. He's going to come in handy. So yeah, he'll be the big useful. Next up, Summoner Monk, because reasons. Well, Summoner Monk, he's actually really good. He can be Ash Blossomed, but that's okay. He's still as useful as Stygian Street Patrol. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Next up, Millennium Illusionist. I run this guy at 3 because I can discard him and target an effect monster and equip it to an Eyes Restrict or Relinquish monster. So yeah, that'll be pretty fun. Use that to boost up my monsters a little bit. Next up will be Golden Eyes Idol. Just running him at 2. So yeah, if he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, I can target an effect monster my opponent controls and equip him to an Eyes Restrict or Relinquish monster as well. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. It didn't feel like it was worth running 3 of, but he's still a good 2. Next up is Relinquish, kind of the core of the deck. You want to get that Relinquished out as soon as possible. Yeah. Next is Allure of Darkness, which I'm running at 2 because it's a useful card. Basically, all the monsters in this deck are dark. So basically, everything is a valid target for Allure of Darkness, and that makes me happy. Unless I draw nothing but spells, at which point that will make me sad. Instant Fusion, because Instant Fusion, pop off 1,000 Eyes Restrict just because I can. Raigeki, because sometimes you just gotta wipe your opponent's board and attack for game. I'm running 2 Polymerizations, which is going to be a little bit clunky in this deck because I've also got 2 of the 1,000 Eyes Fusion card as well, but we'll see how it goes. It's Monster Reborn because that's a useful card. This isn't a good deck. It's mediocre at best. Pot of Prosperity because, I was thinking about running Pot of Desires, but I didn't want to sacrifice my entire deck just to 2 cards. Black Illusion Ritual. I'm only running 2 because I don't always want to have Relinquished on the field. It'll be nice, but it's a thing. It's a whole thing. As I mentioned, 2 of the Relinquished Fusion, so that'll be handy. Yeah. I'm running 2 Shard of Greed because Pot of Greed is banned, but Shard of Greed is still pretty good if it's a slow duel that's just dragging out. 2 Dimensional Prison because that'll be fun to deal with. The AI in this game keeps using Dimensional Prison on me, so I'm going to make Match Suffer the same. I'm running 2 Solemn Strike because Solemn Strike! It's a good little negate. 1 Solemn Judgement because, half your life points in the grand scheme of things isn't that bad. 1 Solemn Warning because 2,000 life points in the grand scheme of things isn't that bad. And we're going to move on to the extra deck, where I've got 3 Millennium Eyes Restrict. It's the new fusion monster. It's really good. I like to target. The best part is you can target a monster that they control or is in the graveyard. The only thing that might give me some struggles is that it specifically states an effect monster, and Dark Magician is in normals, which could lead to some problems later on, but we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. I got Thousand Eyes Restrict, good old tried and true. You know, can't go wrong with him. Good target for instant fusion, or I could use Millennium Eyes Restrict to get instant fusion. Either way, it doesn't matter that much. One-time Thief Redoer. I like to use him. He annoys my friends. He annoys my enemies. One Saryuja Skull Dread. That's kind of like the standard Saryuja, Firewall, kind of Link toolbox. Witch's Apprentice because Dark. Underclock Taker because, you know, attack reduction. It's fun. Linkuriboh. Because sometimes you just gotta, like, reduce some attack. And this deck has a fair few level 1s in it that I'll find pretty handy. And I can, like, tribute a level 1 monster. Like, if I summoned Relinquished using Black Illusion Ritual, I could tribute it to bring back Linkuriboh, and then use it as a target for Relinquished Fusion anyway. Because who's going to stop me? Salamangreat Almiraj. It's pretty weak, but, you know, sometimes just gotta have a plan. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the new Relinquished Anima, because Anima. Sometimes just want to point. It's a new Link monster. It's pretty fun. I don't know why I thought there were so many fiends in this deck. There aren't. So yeah, I'm running 40 and a 15, and for side deck, I'm running 2 Lunalight Black Sheep. It's basically like a Fusion Sage, except it's a monster. So, you know, I could use it as a material for for Salamangreat Almiraj if I wanted to. And 1 more Relinquished Fusion, just in case I need 3.
Okay, so being a Dark Magician deck, you obviously have to run 3 Dark Magicians. This art is one of my personal favorites, but I've kind of grown on this artwork here, or rather this design for him. I think this one is probably one of the strongest of them, and this one I just laugh because it's a modern version of the artwork from the Bandai version of the game. You know, the kind that where all the cards were like weird stickers? That one? Yeah. So yeah, I've got my 3 Dark Magicians here, and also 1 Dark Magician girl, because you kind of need to run at least 1 Dark Magician girl in here for quite a few of the supports. So that's what she's doing in here. I'm running 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician for a couple of reasons. One of them being she is a 2,000 body that can summon herself at the cost of a single discard, and Dark Magician likes putting itself in the graveyard for a multitude of reasons. One of them being, well, actually the primary one being really just resurrection. But there are a couple cards that their whole deal is just put Dark Magician in graveyard for immediate action. The other thing I like about Apprentice Illusion Magician, though, is that she is also an archetypal honest. If a Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send it from your hand or face up from the field to the graveyard, and that monster gains 2,000 attack. That is potentially huge because, as you know, Dark Magician is not exactly known for big number, unless you're, you know, looking at the extra deck. So being able to just suddenly have 2,000 extra attack is huge. I'm also running 2 Timaeus, the Dragon of Destiny, for a couple of reasons. One of them being I do have quite a few fusion cards. In fact, I'm running 5 fusion cards that require a dragon monster, and only one of them can be summoned, or only one of them can't be summoned, rather, with Eye of Timaeus, which I am also running in this deck. So there is that. Wait, am I running? Oh, where is it? Hang on. Oh, my apologies. Apparently I forgot to put Eye of Timaeus in here. That's embarrassing. If that's the case, I'm going to pull 1 Magicalized Fusion. I want to try and keep my deck at a concise 40 cards. I just feel like that's best for me for now. This is not necessarily the deck that I will be featuring in the end of my my Dark Magician review. It's just a deck that I kind of threw together. The monster part is the part that was the easiest for me to do because I've finished almost all of the monster part. So, but yeah, Timaeus Dragon of Destiny can summon itself by sending a spellcaster monster or a spell trip that mentions it, Dark Magician, from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. So that's really handy because just by having a spellcaster or a card that mentions Dark Magician in your hand, you can put a 2800 behemoth down onto the board, which is that's nothing to scoff at in a deck that focuses on a normal monster. Timaeus is also really handy because you can also fusion summon using it as a fusion card, and Timaeus itself doesn't have to be a fusion material, which means that I can actually use it to summon something else, which is part of the reason why when I put that Eye of Timaeus in just now, I cut out one of the magicalized fusions because sure, it needs to be from the hand or the field, like a Polymerization or whatever, but it does act as a fusion card. And I'm also running Secrets of Dark Magic, which I'll get to in a bit. I'm running one Palladium Oracle Mahad. This is all you really need to run. I'm running Magician's Rod because when it's summoned, I can get any spell or trap that lists Dark Magician in its text, which includes almost everything that I have here. That is incredibly handy. He's also got some pretty decent stats for a level 3. Did I just call it a he? It's a fucking stick. Linkuriboh, I'm only running one because while it can just immediately throw a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl on the field, it does require me to take damage for it, and I know a lot of people say that the only life point that matters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the last one. I'm still... I guess maybe it's just a consequence of me being such a fan of the anime, but the anime cares so much about your life points. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But if a spellcaster monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can return it from the graveyard to your hand, which means that you can recycle it, sort of. I mean, you can only use each effect once per turn, but you know, it is what it is. And then I'm running through Magician's Souls because Magician's Souls is basically just a Dark Magician that you can just slap on the board. You can mill a level 6 or higher spellcaster from your deck to the graveyard and then activate one of two effects. One of them is special summon this card, the other one is send this card to the graveyard, then summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard. So all you have to do is just send Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl with the effect to activate this, and then you get them immediately. I'm also running 2 Illusion of Chaos. The reason why is mostly because of the first effect. Like, because of Secrets of Dark Magic, I can actually summon Illusion of Chaos, which is good, but I don't think I'll be doing that very often because I'm mostly running it because I can reveal it in my hand to add a Dark Magician or a non-ritual monster that mentions it in the effect text. And then if this card happens to be on the field and the opponent activates a monster effect, I can return this card to the hand, summon a Dark Magician from the graveyard, and then negate that effect, which is, you know, a really big helping hand. Eye of Timaeus, you all know what he does. You have a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, it sends it to the graveyard as a fusion material for any monster that uses that mentions that monster specifically. This card is extremely handy because legit, like being able to fusion summon with only one monster is a massive boon. So, you know, Dark Magic Attack, you know what that does, wipes the entire board. It does the same thing as Scarlet Security, except it's Dark Magician and it's, you know, searchable. Magicalized Fusion is Miracle Fusion, except for Magicians. Bond between teacher and student is like reverse Sage of Stone, but it also puts Dark Magic Attack, Dark Burning Attack, Dark Burning Magic, or Twin Magic, or Dark Magic Twin Burst directly on the field, which can be pretty handy. I am actually running Dark Burning Magic, so this will allow me to immediately do a board wipe, provided it doesn't get interrupted, which, you know, is an ever-present possibility in this game right now, but whatever. I'm also running Diffusion Wave Motion, mostly for meme purposes, because, like, the chances of actually getting this off is not super great, but I do think it is a really great finale card if you can get it off, because being able to attack all monsters your opponent controls with one monster is just great, and your opponent can't respond to it with any effects, so it's really good. Dark Magic Expanded, I'm running 2 of those because, well, one, it's not a hard once per turn like a lot of the cards in this deck are, but it can do a lot of things. It allows me to apply up to 3 effects depending on how many monsters I have with different names that are Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. 1,000 attack, Ancient Gear Golem style board lockdown, and also preventing your monsters from being affected by card effects from your opponent till the end of the turn, which is really handy. Soul Servant, this card is going to be the one that will be placing Palladium Oracle Mahad on the top of my deck, which is fan-freaking-tastic. And also I can banish it from the graveyard and then draw cards equal to the number of Palladium monsters or Dark Magician monsters with different names on the field and in the graveyards. So it's pretty handy to have, but I didn't want to run too many because I'm only running 1 Palladium monster and the deck's pretty okay at getting Dark Magician cards out, so... Inheritance, I'm running that one because it lets me search a spell or trap. It's kind of like Magician's Rod. I'm kind of running this more as a test because Magician's Rod is arguably better because it goes off immediately on summon without having to minus anything, even if it is from your graveyard. So, you know. Secrets of Dark Magic is a fusion and a ritual card, which is really handy. This will allow me to summon some of my fusions as well as my ritual that I have there. Dark Burning Magic is a board wipe. Dark Magical Circle lets me excavate 3 cards, add a Dark Magician or a card that lists it to my hand, and then put them on the top of the deck in any order. And if a Dark Magician is normal or special summoned, I can target 1 card the opponent controls and banish it, which is also really handy. Magician's Salvation is my field spell. Honestly, I should probably throw a Terraforming in here, but I'm going to see how it works without it, just to see if that worked well. But when it's activated, I can throw Eternal Soul directly onto my field if it's not already there, which will also be really handy if my opponent decides to, destroy the first one. I have a way of getting the second one back, even though it can't, summon from the graveyard, or not summon, activate from the graveyard or whatever, which is... fine, whatever. But if I summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, I can target that monster and then summon a monster from the graveyard that has a different name from that monster, as long as it is, still a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, and I can only use that effect once per turn. It's honestly handier than the nothing that it used to have. I think I used to run a Dark Magician deck where I was running like Secret Village of the Spellcasters, which is an objectively terrible card, but I was also using it in the Pendulum era, so, Magician's Navigation lets you summon a Dark Magician from your hand, and then a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster from your deck. In my old deck, I used to run this specifically to summon Sorcerer of Dark Magic, which I'm not running anymore, mainly because he's a bit slow, and traps aren't as necessary anymore. And I can also banish it, except for the turn it was sent to the graveyard, to negate the effect of a spell or trap your opponent controls. That's not as necessary, it's more the first effect I'm running it for, but you know how it goes with some of these cards. Sometimes the first effect's better than the second. Destined Rivals will allow me to negate the effects of all face-up monsters that my opponent controls till the end of the turn. If I control Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician, I will only be controlling one of those, but that is perfectly okay. We've got 2 Eternal Souls. Pretty much everyone knows what this does. Dark Magicians in my monster zones are unaffected by opponent's card effects. If this card leaves the field, destroy all monsters I control. And I can either special summon a Dark Magician from my hand or graveyard, or add a Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives from my deck to my hand. I'm sure you can guess which one is the one I'll be using more often. And finally, for the main deck, I've got Magician's Combination, which lets me basically swap out Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl whenever an opponent activates an effect, and it negates the activated effect. So, yeah, and the fact that it summons from the graveyard as well means that it literally just swaps them back and forth. So while I can only use... Actually, can I use this effect only once per turn? Let me look at this really quick. Yeah, it's once per turn. But yeah, that's really handy. I mean, sure, it's not a quick play, but whatever. As for the extra deck, I've got Quintet Magician. That one's going to be pretty handy, especially if I use 5 spellcaster monsters with different names. So that's my goal, I think. I've got 2 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which EDOPro has still not updated the name, but what else is new? You don't need me to tell you what this does. It does exactly what you know it does. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, It becomes Dark Magician on the field or in the graveyard. Your opponent cannot target spells or traps you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This will protect my Eternal Soul and just all of my cards that need protecting. Mysterion, the Dragon Crown, is a generic monster that can be summoned with this deck as well. It cannot be used as fusion material, but that's fine. It loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. Well, the goal is to not have very many of them. And if a monster uses its effect to special summon itself, or a monster with the same original type, except during the damage step, you can target one of those special summon monsters, banish that monster, also banish all monsters from the field with its same original type. So this could potentially not work out super well if I use it on a Relinquish, because that will blow everything away, but if you use it at the right time, it could be handy. The Dark Magicians is just Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. I mean, if a spell or trap card or effect is activated, I can draw one card, and if it's a spell or trap, I can set it, and if it was a trap or quick, I can use it this turn. If this card's destroyed, I can summon both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from my hand, deck, or graveyard, so at least it recoups the cost in that regard. Big Eye will allow me to take control of an opponent's monster. This will basically allow me to take advantage of the fact that Aubrey will be taking my shit, so then I will just take it right back. Ebon Illusion Magician will allow me to summon a spellcaster normal monster from the hand or deck, which will give me my Dark Magicians. That's really handy. And when a spellcaster normal monster declares an attack, I can banish one card my opponent controls. Ebon High Magician will allow me to special summon a dark spellcaster monster from my hand or deck. Then I can destroy one card in the field when it's destroyed by a battle. And I can also activate quick play spells or traps from my hand during the opponent's turn by detaching one material. That is really handy. And also a Relinquished Anima. Okay, I'm back.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you.
Yes, I know. Also, Discord is telling me streamer mode is enabled. Stay safe, friend. Thank you for that, I guess. I didn't know that was a thing.
It's time to duel!
Yeah. Part of the reason why we set the time limit to infinite is, well, one, I just tend to take a little while. I think I literally got timed out and lost an entire duel once in the middle of a combo because I was caught reading cards. So. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah.
And me, I don't read my cards, which is kind of a weakness of mine.
Yeah.
I had to kind of let the game coast for me. Wizards, always choosing paper. Oh my god, what is this hand? I did select the zone to play Solemn Strike. Okay, there we go. Forget you heard that.
Did you just tell me that you set Solemn Strike?
No. I said something else.
Listen, I don't have a great opening hand either, so don't feel too bad.
Hello there.
Yes, I am going to respond to that. No.
Oh wow, I had no idea that was a Solemn Strike.
Hello there. Hello there.
No!
Hello there.
Did you just tribute set something?
Yes. Shut up. I'm desperate, okay?
I suspect I'm gonna lose this right now.
You know, you might think. But then again,
Oh, that only works on effect monsters.
yeah, it's a bit of a problem.
I forgot about that.
There.
That's my only play.
Hello there.
That was a bad plan. With Underclock Taker, I can make Dark Magician lose 0 attack points.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why didn't you add a monster that has 0 attack?
Unless I... Ha!
Clutch Linkuriboh to save
Right.
the day. I'll let you have that because I win anyways.
Wait, why do you win anyways?
Now that's a lot of damage!
Ah! This deck sucks.
What I'm learning from this is that Yugi would have had a lot better of a time now defeating Pegasus than he would have 20 years ago.
Right?
So it turns out Red Eye's Dark Dragoon's actually kind of good.
Mama, ooh, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. And this is the part where you give me one turn to see if I can turn it around?
No.
Bastard. What are we even friends for?
Taste my rod.
That sounds very suggestive.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I think we should do some more stuff like that.
Absolutely, my brother. We will,
Yeah.
we'll be doing that again in the future.
Yeah. I think the fact that, I don't know about yours, but my version for EDOPro is version Utopia. I think it's really telling me that we should finally do that Utopia thing I promised a year ago.
You know, I think you have a point there.
Yeah. So why don't we get this video out and then we can start scheduling a time where we can actually do that.
Sounds good to me. All right, well,
All right.
thanks to all our lovely viewers for joining us here on the Duel Maniacs. It's not often that I get to do my Streamlabs magic, so it's been good to see all of you, and yeah. Well, talk to you later, my dude.
Yep. Have a good time, YouTube.
Have a great night.